So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Boomtown, 1940. I thought I was going to love this flick. After watching the first hour, I thought, wow, this is even better than Clark Gable's I Don't Give a Damn. Quite frankly, I don't give a damn. But it quickly devolved into a hot mess that I absolutely detested beyond how much I liked the first hour. Way beyond how much I liked the first hour. So I'm giving this 1 out of 5 stars. If they had just stuck to the first hour, it would have been a much better movie, in my opinion. I tried to do this video at Starbucks in San Mateo again, and the Wi-Fi kept crashing out, unstable connection there. So I'm doing this at home now. Clark Gable, who was great in Gone with the Wind, which is a movie that I really liked, even though it's like 3 hours. Plays J.D. Rockefeller, oil monopolist character. And I absolutely hated that whole concept. They brought in the Sherman Act of 1890. They brought in the lame concept of peak oil. They couldn't even get the Sherman Act right. They're trying to convict Clark Gable of 10 years in prison. The maximum amount of time a person could spend in prison under the Sherman Antitrust Act is 3 years. I couldn't understand why Clark Gable was telling his people to limit the supply of oil. It didn't make any sense. Why would a monopolist do that? There are only 2 monopolies in the United States. One is Braddock, and the other one is Rawlings. Rawlings makes baseballs. Braddock makes shoe measuring devices. I never heard a single consumer complain about baseballs or shoe measuring devices. This whole concept behind the Sherman Antitrust Act is a socialist concept. They even call Clark Gable octopus during the trial. Anyways, that's my rant, my political, historical, revisionist perspective on antitrust law. I could go on for hours. I'm sure there are many articles written on antitrust law, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. So, it starts out with Spencer, Tracy, Clark Gable keep bumping into each other, either in the mud or at the hotel. And at first, Spencer Tracy can't stand Clark Gable. Tells him to get out of his way, mind his own business. But then Clark Gable, after falling in the mud during a shootout, he and Spencer Tracy both fall in the mud together. Clark Gable goes into Spencer Tracy's room room demanding to take a bath. All of this takes place in 1918, by the way. The rest of the movie takes place, I don't know when, after 1918 or maybe during 1918. It's not clear. But Clark Gable storms into Spencer Tracy's hotel room, demands to take a bath, throws out a wad of $800 on the bed. Spencer Tracy thinks it's $8,000. So they go into business together. They steal the Wizard of Oz oil drilling equipment. The Wizard of Oz plays oil drilling equipment guy, I guess. And they steal his stuff so that they can drill on the outskirts of town, where Spencer Tracy proves that there's oil by taking a lighter up to this puddle full of liquid that's bubbling, and it lights on fire when he puts his lighter up to it. So he says it's oil, and instead of putting an oil rig directly on top of the puddle, they put it somewhere else where it just shoots up water. So they go back to the Wizard of Oz and they say, hey, I'll give you 1/8 of the interest, which is like 1/8 of $10 million, if you let us put up another oil rig in a different spot. And of course, that spot happens to be where the oil is located. They get rich instantly. They start spending money. Clark Gable goes around town looking for some hot stuff, and he finds it in the form of Claudette Colbert. So they start falling in love, but the thing is, Spencer Tracy is in love with Claudette Colbert also. So there's a love triangle going on, And Clark Gable ends up marrying her. And Spencer Tracy just kind of shrugs it off like, oh, well, I had my chance and I blew it. That sort of thing. And Clark Gable goes, what a guy. So Clark Gable's cheats on his wife right away. He goes back to some saloon hussy. Starts like twirling her around when his wife, newlywed, storms in with Spencer Tracy and sees him kind of flirting with her. Not getting in any kind of serious relationship, just kind of a drunken kind of dancing thing, which is what I would have done. At that age, I guess I would have done the same thing. Not a big deal. So at first, his wife wants to storm out, but she changes her mind, and she goes back to him. Then Spencer Tracy makes him flip a coin to see who gets 100% control of the oil. Clark Gable loses. It's bad. So Spencer Tracy gets depressed. He starts drinking a lot. He sells his interest in the oil field. Before that, there's a fire that they put out with nitroglycerin. That was kind of interesting. Uh, well shot, I thought. But like I said, the last half of the movie just ruined everything. Anyways, so Clark Gable is pretty much penniless. He has to sell his house. Spencer Tracy tells him to get off his land. And his wife has a baby. So they're traveling all around doing, Clark Gable's working at oil rigs, making like 50 to 100 a day. And Spencer Tracy goes to some place that looks like south of the border where there's some political risk there. And he loses all his money too. So Clark Gable decides to start his own oil rig business based on the money he saved, I guess. And he's quite successful at it. He decides he wants to go to New York and compete with Lionel Atwill. So that makes him a monopolist, and Spencer Tracy does a business partnership with Lionel Atwill. They file bankruptcy because they can't compete with Clark Gable. And they get the government to go after Clark Gable, which is dumb. I don't know why Spencer Tracy is doing this. I guess he's trying to save the Clark Gable's marriage because he's in love with Clark Gable's wife. But he goes to court and he testifies that Clark Gable actually did a good thing because he's conserving oil for future generations. All this peak oil nonsense. And Clark Gable says, "Thanks, buddy." And it's pretty much the movie. I mean, what the heck was Spencer Tracy trying to do? Did he actually achieve what he wanted to do? I guess he did. I have no idea. Because it's so dumb. His whole speech during the trial was just so incredibly dumb that I couldn't even roll my eyes and smack my head. I just kind of tortured myself sitting through it and trying to understand what the heck he was talking about, because it made absolutely no sense to me. And the funny thing is that it gets a high rating on IMDb, like a 7.1, but not too many people have actually seen this movie. It only has 2,891 ratings, which is low for a picture of this magnitude. And people just forgot about it. I mean, it doesn't stand up to the test of time. And there's so many great actors in this. There's Perry White and Don't Call Me Chief from Adventures of Superman. It's got the gangster from Some Like It Hot. It's got all kinds of actors in it. put all the actors' names in the description box, at least the significant ones, like I did with Hollywood Hobbies. And you can see for yourself there's a lot of wasted talent. So skip this one. Don't watch it. I'm not going to recommend it. I'm not going to post anything in the description box except for the actors' names, many of whom I've already mentioned. And I'm not going to say check it out. I just absolutely hated this flick. And big disappointment, way big disappointment on this one. So let's see in my review. Laters.